What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz back here for Cinephellas.com. It's been a minute. I had some surgery last week. I've been recovering the past week and a half. Haven't been doing much movie stuff. Trying to get better and feeling 100% again. I'm back doing what I love the most, talking about movies and TV shows for you guys, so it's good to be back. So hopefully you all are doing good and staying safe during these crazy times. So when I was laying low the past week, I finally got around to binging the new season of Umbrella Academy Season 2. If you guys have been keeping up with our channel, I reviewed the first season, had a great time with it, but Season 2 is way, way better in so many different ways. Season 2 picks up with what happened at the end of Season 1 with Vanya's character played by Ellen Page, basically creating the apocalypse, and then number 5 wants to send them back in time to prevent the apocalypse that Vanya creates. And it sets them up in different years in the 1960s, like 1960, 61, 62, 63, all around the JFK assassination. So I like how they throw in historical events into the story this season. The Hargreeves family making it back to the 1960s. It's completely different. They're used to being in 2019. The fashion's different. The people are different. There's a lot of racism down in Texas back in the 1960s, so it really sets up a lot of conflict, especially for Allison's character. But Steve Blackman is the showrunner of the show, and it really felt like he fixed a lot of the issues they had in the first season. And Season 2 really dives into the dysfunctional family of the Hargreeves, the psyche of each character, where the first season was more about the mystery. And he kind of fixed a lot of the issues I had with it in the first season. He really made a phenomenal second season, but really diving into these characters, especially in 1960. It's a period piece going back then, the fashion, the music, the cars, everything is completely different. We didn't have the technology back then. And I love how all these characters adapt to their surroundings in the 1960s with Vanya working with his family out in a farm, and Diego ends up getting locked up, meets this girl, falls in love with her, and Luther's working for this mob boss. It's the janitor from the Breakfast Club, which I thought was really cool. Didn't know that guy was still around. I thought he passed away, but he plays the mob boss in this season. Luther works for Klaus, is like a cult leader. This time around, he's got super long hair this season. It looks like Brandon Boyd from Incubus. But he's one of the best performances, again, this season. He just brings that comedic presence that we love. Really funny guy. I love Robert Sheehan. He's just a really great actor, and I love his portrayal of Klaus this season as the cult leader, and a lot of crazy stuff that happens between him and his ghost brother. Klaus can see ghosts and things like that and communicate with them where everybody else can't, and that's his power. So he's, him and Ben have this love-hate relationship, like an old married couple. It's really cool what happens to Ben's character at the very end of the season. What's really great about this season, it's really kind of focused on 5 more than the rest of the family. They really dive into each character, but I think the main focal point is really 5, played by Aidan Gallagher. I love this kid. He's such a great young actor. He's something about him, his sarcasm he puts into this role, and he's really the leader of the Hargreeves family. All different superpowers, but he's the oldest, and we'll see what that all means in this season, where he meets up with himself at an older age, and it causes a lot of problems, in the 60s having to do with JFK, but I really thought this kid knocked it out of the park this season. He is, an actor on the rise. I can't wait to see where he is, 10, 15 years from now, just being a huge actor, because he's really got some good acting chops for a young kid, and he really sells the performance of 5. He really kills it as being the leader of this family and trying to stop the apocalypse and really wrangle up his whole family that are scattered throughout different years in the 60s and getting them together to stop the apocalypse back then, and then go back to 2019. I really thought his arc was really fantastic this season. He was even better in Season 2 than Season 1, and they really fleshed out more of the characters this time around. A lot of the characters weren't that annoying. I thought Luther was a lot better. Allison was really great. She had another really great arc in this season. Having to do with back in the 1960s, her and her husband are standing up for the rights, it being African Americans, and a lot of the hillbillies, white people down there didn't like that back then, so they're standing up for their rights, they're human beings. So I thought her arc was really great, really well done, really fleshed out, and I love that about her character. The rest of the characters as well, Vanya I think is the most annoying. I don't know if it's just Ellen Page, but she brought no emotion to this role and very stale, no energy. It just felt like she was getting a paycheck and she didn't really bring out the best performance. I haven't seen her in a good role in a while. I don't know, maybe it's her, she just doesn't feel like she cares anymore, but I just didn't like Vanya's character in either season, really. It was probably the weakest link of all the characters, where the side characters, supporting cast, I thought brought a lot more to the story for Season 2. But Vanya was pretty dry, more of the bullshit from the first season, and not really much development with her character. She's got a lot of superpowers and she can do some damage, and that's pretty much it, and the Hargreeves have to stop the apocalypse. unite as a family and really stop the apocalypse from happening back in the 1960s so they can get back to, you know, the current time. With that being said, we do get to see Reginald Hargreeves. It really has to do with his character this season, him having to do with the JFK assassination, people he works for. Is that the Monopoly guy? Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Oh.
But I thought he was really great back in the 60s. Pretty much looks the same. Obviously, he's the founder of the Umbrella Academy, getting all these kids together. And it was cool seeing his character back in the day, and then his kids that are older going back to like confront him about what he's doing. He's like, who are you? Like, your kids from the future. So he doesn't really believe that, but I thought he was really great this season. The handler's played by Kate Walsh. I thought she did a really great job as a villain this season, and really giving Five an ultimatum. You have to do this, or you can go back to 2019, but you got to do some really bad things. And you know, them working together, you can see this lady's up to no good, very evil, and I really like how her character goes out at the very end of the season as well. But leading up until the end, it was really fantastic, you know, having to do with this apocalypse, this period piece back in the 1960s, the fashion, the set design, the acting. You know, some of the actors had longer hair to really portray that era a lot better, and a lot of things going on with racial injustice, having to do with the assassination of the president. A lot of things that happened that were historical events that took place back then, they threw into the story of season 2, and I absolutely love that. I loved how the characters were fleshed out. They're really studying the psyche of each Hargreeves character. It's a really dysfunctional family, but when it comes down to it, they get together, stop the apocalypse once again, and they'll put their differences aside to save humanity, to save the world. Without giving too much away, I really like how they set up for the next season. They really lay the groundwork for what they're going to do in the upcoming seasons. I'm not going to say too much about that. Something that really caught me off guard and I didn't see coming. But them making it back to 2019 and where this leads the Umbrella Academy or some other academy. And I can't wait to see what happens to these characters in the upcoming seasons. But overall, I had a really great time in season 2 of the Umbrella Academy. I was actually shocked how much I love this. It's a pretty perfect season. Don't have too many complaints about it. I think the editing, the set design, the costume design, the script, the story, everything. I thought the performance is really great. Ellen Page really being the weakest link in the entire show. Didn't care for her character or her performance in the show. Everybody else really knocked it out of the park. Throwing in historical events in the 1960s and just throwing in their own spin of these superheroes, making it back in time and then trying to get back to the current time of 2019. They pull it back to the future on us. And I really love that aspect of it. So I'm going to give Steve Blackman's Umbrella Academy Season 2 a 4.5 out of 5. Number 5 hair pieces. So what did you guys think of Umbrella Academy Season 2? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you guys think of that ending? And where is this going to go in the next season? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from the Umbrella Academy up here with Big Luther. God, his arms are big. Until the next TV review. Cheers!